You open your phone at 2 a.m. The room is completely dark except for the harsh blue glow of your screen illuminating your tired face. You're lying in bed, exhausted from a long day of pretending to care about a job that barely pays your rent, and instead of sleeping, you're swiping. Left, left, right, left. You're flicking your thumb across hundreds of highly edited, perfectly staged photos of strangers, hoping, just hoping, that one of them might validate your existence with a tiny red digital heart. You do this until your eyes burn, until the app tells you you've run out of likes, and then you put the phone down, stare at the ceiling, and feel an overwhelming, hollow sense of emptiness. You feel more alone now than you did before you opened the app, and you do this every single night. We live in a world where you're forced to pretend that this is normal. We're told that this endless gamified slot machine of human faces is the peak of modern romance. We've been convinced that outsourcing our biological drive for connection to a multi-billion-dollar tech conglomerate is somehow efficient. But let's be real for a second. It's not efficient. It's a slow, quiet psychological torture that is actively making us miserable. And the worst part is, we all know it's terrible. But we keep logging on anyway because we're terrified that if we stop playing the game, we'll be alone forever. This isn't just about dating apps being mildly annoying. This is about a systemic failure in how we connect as a species. The way modern dating works absolutely sucks for everyone. You sit on your couch, open a portfolio of algorithmic suggestions, and try to decode a person's entire soul from 3 heavily filtered photos and a bio that says, "I like tacos and The Office." And if you want a better chance, if you want to not be buried under thousands of other lonely people, you have to pay up. You literally have to subscribe to a premium tier just to be seen by another human being. It's completely dystopian. And you wonder why dating feels different now. You wonder why everyone is so lonely and why it seems harder than ever to find someone you actually want to pursue a romantic relationship with. Your options are dictated by an all-powerful algorithm that doesn't care if you find love. It cares if you stay on the app long enough to view another ad or buy another boost. I'm sorry, but nothing will change my mind about how much I hate online dating. It's presented as the only solution, the mandatory modern tax on finding a partner. But hey, what do I know? I'm just a guy talking to a microphone in his room. For real though, the crazy thing is, there is a way to avoid this pitfall. There is a way to actually meet people, to find a genuine connection, to find that person you've always wanted. It isn't easy. It requires effort, but you have to do it, or you're forever going to feel exactly like you do right now, staring at a screen, hoping the next swipe is the one. To understand why I care so much about this, I have to be completely honest with you. Throughout all of college, I desperately wanted a long-term relationship. I've always been a relationship guy. I wasn't into the games, the superficial hookup culture, the roster mentality. I just wanted someone to take on dates, to watch movies with, to go on walks with. That's just who I am. And yet, for my entire college experience, surrounded by thousands of people my exact age, I was single. Pretty much the entire time. I was on all of them. Tinder, Hinge, Bumble, whatever the new flavor of the month was. I'd swipe, I'd send the super likes, I'd craft the witty, perfect openers. I played the game exactly how society told me to play it. I'm incredibly embarrassed to admit this, but I even paid for Tinder and Hinge Premium multiple times. I don't even want to calculate how much money I wasted on that garbage. And after years of doing this, I went on maybe 3 or 4 dates. And they were awful. They were transactional, awkward, and completely devoid of any real connection. It was a massive waste of my youth. I had friends who were way more obsessed with it than I was. Guys who would set their location to different countries when they traveled, racking up hundreds of matches, bragging about their stats. And you know what? Most of them are still single today. Literally thousands of potential options, thousands of digital matches, and absolutely nothing to show for it but a depleted sense of self-worth. It was a pointless endeavor. I spent college single, always wanting a girlfriend, but never knowing how to actually find one. And then I graduated. I moved to a new city, and I ended up finding a girl that I really love. And as painfully cliche as this sounds, she is the exact person I had been looking for my entire life. And funny enough, you know when I met her? I wasn't even on dating apps. I had completely given up on them. So what is the actual solution here? If you go online, the internet will feed you a lot of toxic garbage. They'll tell you that you don't need a relationship, that dating is a waste of time, that you should just go monk mode, or that you need to become some hyper-masculine alpha to win the game. That's all a lie. The truth is much simpler, but much harder to execute. You have to radically change your approach to human interaction. Step 1 is non-negotiable. You have to get off the dating apps. I am a hardcore dating app hater, and I firmly believe they are the primary driver of the modern loneliness epidemic. When you have the illusion of infinite choice right in your pocket, but none of those choices ever result in a meaningful connection, it crushes your soul. You start to think, what is wrong with me? Why is everyone else winning while I'm losing? But it's an illusion. It's not working for them either. Think about it. How many couples do you know that met on an app and are actually in a happy, stable, long-term relationship? It's rare. Now compare that to the number of people you know who have been grinding away on Hinge for 5 years and are completely miserable. Realizing this is liberating. Delete Hinge. Delete Tinder. Delete whatever niche app you're using. Let it go. Letting a corporation dictate your romantic life based on an algorithm is not natural. Imagine you're at a coffee shop and someone attractive walks in. By pure coincidence, you now have a real, tangible opportunity to connect. You can choose to say hello, or you can ignore it. Now imagine that same coffee shop, but there's a bouncer at the door, strictly analyzing everyone's algorithmic compatibility score before they can even make eye contact. And there are 30 other guys screaming for her attention at the exact same time. That's a dating app. It strips the humanity entirely out of the process. But wait, if you delete the apps, how on earth will you ever meet anyone? Oh no, the horror. What will you do without the all-powerful algorithm? Anyways, step 2 is where the real work begins. You have to return to how humans interacted for the last, 200,000 years. You have to get out in public. It sounds so basic, but in today's world, it's revolutionary. Today, an estimated 63% of young men are single. There is a reason for this. The new methods are broken. The modern loneliness crisis is unique because it's a crisis of isolation. We are more connected digitally than ever, but completely severed from physical community. Work is remote. Group chats live on Discord. Entertainment is piped directly into your living room via Netflix. The third places, the arcades, the local theaters, the neighborhood cafes, are dying, replaced by sterile drive-thrus where you never have to look another human in the eye. The physical world feels empty, but the brutal truth is, it only feels empty because we are choosing to make it empty. We are actively deciding to stay inside. Everyone complains that they can't meet people, but their idea of trying is going to the grocery store with noise-canceling headphones on and avoiding eye contact with the cashier. When was the last time you actually placed yourself in a local coffee shop on a Saturday morning just to be around people? When did you last walk through a farmer's market or attend a community event or join a club or actually talk to someone at the gym instead of just glaring at yourself in the mirror? More importantly, when was the last time you intentionally spoke to a stranger? When did you last make small talk with the person in line behind you? When did you last ask for advice, or just offer a simple passing observation to the person standing next to you in the elevator? If you're like most people, it's probably been a very long time. We have forgotten how to talk to each other. Our culture is so deeply indoctrinated by the safety of the virtual world that the thought of an unscripted, real-life interaction terrifies us. It's a massive paradox. Everyone is desperate for connection, but everyone is too paralyzed by anxiety to initiate it. You have to be the one to break the ice. You need to force yourself out of your house and into spaces where people naturally gather. And then you have to talk, not to women, not with the intention of flirting, not running pickup artist routines or treating life like a video game. I mean genuinely, authentically speaking to other human beings, regardless of their age, gender, or attractiveness. You have to rebuild the fundamental muscle of casual socialization. If you aren't comfortable making small talk with the elderly man at the bus stop, you are never going to be comfortable talking to the girl of your dreams. It's that simple. Getting comfortable speaking to strangers is a foundational life skill. It helps your career, your friendships, and your general mental well-being. Humans are pack animals. We are supposed to be social. By isolating yourself, you are starving your own brain. Make it a goal to talk to one new person a week. It doesn't matter what you say, just practice being alive in the real world. Your dating life will naturally follow. Which brings us to step 3. You need to cultivate actual passions. Existing in public is great, but to form deep connections, you need shared interests. Small talk is the bridge, but shared passion is the foundation. You can't just be an empty vessel who consumes media. What do you actually care about? Do you obsess over a certain genre of movies? Are you deeply invested in a specific type of music or a sport or a niche hobby? A lot of people think they don't have hobbies, but they just don't realize that the things they naturally gravitate toward hold value. What do you find yourself doing on a Sunday afternoon when you have no obligations? Start there. But beyond just having interests, you need to find an active hobby that forces you to show up in person on a regular schedule. For a while, I got really into rock climbing. I was terrible at it, truly awful, but it was a physical place I went to consistently, week after week, and naturally, simply by being present, I started recognizing the same faces. We'd nod at each other, then eventually start chatting, and eventually we became friends. It was organic. The reason this works is that once you've learned how to talk to people, hobbies provide the easiest, lowest stakes icebreaker imaginable. You already know you share at least one interest. I also got really into shooting Super 8 film. I'd carry this clunky vintage camera around, and every time I brought it out, people would ask about it. It was a natural conversation starter. It made interactions flow effortlessly because I was sharing something I genuinely cared about rather than trying to force a generic conversation. You have to become a person who does things. And once you've done all of this, once you've deleted the apps, started existing in public, relearned how to talk to humans, and found things you actually care about, you arrive at the hardest step of all. You have to actually talk to people you are attracted to. There is no way to bypass this. If you want a romantic partner, you have to initiate romantic interactions in the real world. Dating apps and social media have sold us the lie that you can find love without ever experiencing the risk of rejection. They tell you that you can just passively wait for a match or slide into a DM safely hidden behind a screen. But that safety only breeds shallow, validation-seeking behavior. Real connection requires real vulnerability. You need to gain experience talking to people you find attractive, because if you treat attractive people like alien beings, they will immediately sense your desperation. I had a buddy in college who had an incredibly curated online profile. He got matches constantly. But if you put him in front of a girl in real life, he would completely shut down. He would stutter, try to overcompensate by acting aloof, and the entire vibe would instantly turn weird and uncomfortable. He was terrible at it because he had never practiced it in real life. He relied entirely on the risk-free environment of the internet, where he could edit his responses and perfectly tailor his image. The moment that virtual safety net was removed, his lack of authentic social skills was painfully obvious. If you only interact with people from behind a screen, you will lose the ability to connect face to face. You have to treat people you are attracted to exactly the same way you treat the barista or the guy at the gym. If you put them on a pedestal, you will sabotage yourself. When I met my girlfriend, I was able to be comfortable and genuinely myself because I had spent so much time just learning how to hold a conversation with anyone. Sure, I was a little nervous. That's human, but the paralyzing fear wasn't there. I wasn't trying to perform a routine. I was just being me. And because of that, she actually got to see who I really was. This brings me to the most vital, overarching philosophy of this entire process. You can do everything right. You can leave the house, find hobbies, learn to socialize. But if you fail at this final concept, it's all for nothing. You have to actually show that you care. You have to be vulnerable. You have to try. The dating advice targeted at men right now is an absolute poison. It teaches you to be stoic, detached, to hold frame, to treat women like an adversary in a psychological war. It encourages you to act like you don't care, under the false assumption that indifference breeds attraction. It turns dating into a miserable, cynical circus. It is complete and utter garbage. If you meet someone you like and you want to be with them, you have to show them that you're interested. Plan a thoughtful date, put effort into it, open the door for them, tell them they look nice, be intentional. In my view, that is what real maturity looks like, not the insecure, hyper-defensive, Andrew Tate-inspired superiority complex that so many guys adopt as a shield. People are terrified of being perceived as simps or trying too hard. But how else are you supposed to build a foundation of trust? Everyone already likes their Instagram stories. Everyone already sends them low-effort fire emojis in the DMs. The standard is incredibly low. If you want to stand out, you just have to be a genuine, caring human being. People don't want to date a brick wall. They want to date someone who listens, who supports them, and who isn't terrified of showing a little emotion. I promise you, despite what the algorithms push into your feed, this is what people actually want. You don't have to be needy or suffocating, but you must be clear in your intentions. Don't play games. Be authentic. Do not hide the nerdy, weird, or uncool parts of your personality, because those are the parts that actually make you interesting. If you love something obscure, own it. Passion is attractive. Hiding who you are to fit an imaginary mold is exhausting and ultimately doomed to fail. This isn't a magic formula that will fix your life overnight. It takes time, patience, and a willingness to be uncomfortable. But I want you to realize that your experience on dating apps does not define your worth. Disconnecting from that toxic, gamified ecosystem and choosing to interact with the physical world is the only way to find something real. The first step is simply closing the app and walking out the front door. Once you do that, the rest will slowly start to make sense. But if you never try, you will remain exactly where you are right now. How has your experience been out there? What do you feel is the hardest part about trying to connect with people right now? Let me know in the comments, and let's talk about it. Share this with someone who might need to hear it, and I will see you guys next time.